Hi, welcome to The Kate Show. With me today is multi-talented Rachel King. How's it going?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So, why photography?
Why photography? I don't know. I started photography when I was about in high school, and I just loved the idea of kind of connecting people. And I see photography, just art in general, as something where you can understand an aspect of someone that you wouldn't have really understood before without the use of art or photography or film or painting or really whatever medium you want to use. So it's a cool connector that I like to use.
So you like to bring people together?
Yeah,
through
definitely,
art.
definitely.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And what are you working on right now?
So right now I'm working on a Baltimore piece. So I kind of was inspired when I lived in New York last year. With all the Baltimore in the news and the coverage and the riots, and people were just very confused as to why it was happening, I guess. And I was like, well, look at like the history of what's happened in Baltimore. I'm not surprised. It's happened 25 years ago too. So I came back to photograph the actual activists and protesters and like these amazing people who are kind of striving to make Baltimore like this awesome place and trying to make it like better. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on right now. And I can show you a few things if you want to see it.
I would love to.
Yeah. So it's basically a portrait series with a few other, landscape portrait shots and everything like that. But I'm going to make it eventually a multimedia piece because I interview each protester and activist. And you can just scroll and look at them.
Here, let's do this. You see this here? Okay. So we'll go this way.
And I interview them and I ask them, why are they protesting? And most of them are just like, I went through a lot of stuff and I just want to help out other people. And like, that's so cool. And people don't really see that other aspect.
And who is this person here?
She's an activist as well. So she was in the protests last year, and she's just really into even like women's rights and just a lot of stuff within Baltimore. And these are all people who are either within the People's Power Protest Assembly, when they kind of do all those protests in Baltimore, and then just other people that are really passionate about helping other people, which I think is like amazing and so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, so that's something I'm working on, and it's kind of different because I haven't really worked on documentary work that much on like a certain issue. I'm mainly just a portrait photographer, and last year I traveled the country photographing college students in their dorms.
Oh, cool.
So it was like really cool and like a very interesting like psychological thing that I was interested in, but this is like an actual issue that I'm working on as well now. So yeah, it's really great, and I really enjoy it, and meeting all these like amazing people. It's like the coolest thing ever.
That's really cool that you're like diversifying like your approach to photography.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think photography is like an amazing way to show people a certain area or a certain place or a certain thing that they would never even know about.
It's true.
That. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your Etsy store.
Yeah.
So what are you doing with that? I know you're working on some doing dream catchers and stuff.
Yeah. So I started this. It's like so random and definitely not about photography. I started it last year because it's just I really love beautiful things and I really love nature, and I think it's a really cool aspect to again connect people and connect us not only to each other but our land that we're living on. So this is kind of my take on doing that, and I just started it for myself, and then people started wanting to buy them, so I was like, hey, I might as well just start that and
That's cool.
have a shop. And now I'm really into either like psychology of color, and different gemstones that kind of go with people's personalities or what they want to do in their lives or kind of who they want to be. And this is kind of like almost like a roadmap for them, and if they want to hang it in their house and kind of aim for these sort of things in their lives.
And you do custom orders too, where you work with the customer, and so tell me about that. How do you make those decisions about what to use, what materials to use, and that kind of thing?
Well, I usually ask a few questions. See, sometimes I know the people, so it's kind of I don't need to ask all the questions, but sometimes they're complete strangers. And I ask a few questions like, what do you want in your life? What are you trying to work on yourself? Like different things just about yourself. And then I look at, amethyst, which is a purple stone, is really about balance and like centering yourself, which is actually kind of cool. Talking about psychology of color, purple is like known to be a balanced color. So it's really interesting. So then I kind of tell them what these things are about, and they're like, wow, that's so cool. That's like totally what I need in my life, or like that's totally me. And that's like a really good feeling when people are like, wow, you totally got me. That's awesome. So then it's like a little tiny piece of them that I make for them, and it's like a really, really fun experience. It's so fun. I'm working with like different fabrics and different materials, and I'm going to start dyeing my own fabrics naturally. So that'll be really cool.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And you blog about it too, right? Like telling about so if you want to know more about Rachel's process and specific things that she has done with people, that you have all that right there on your blog.
Definitely. I think it's important not just to see what it is, or just like, I think when you have art or any sort of thing that it's expressing yourself, there's always a deeper meaning behind what you're doing. And I want to show people, it's not just dream catchers. I'm just trying to, this is the mode of being able to connect people. So if I talk about it and I talk about, I know a lot of people go through balance and like issues with that. So if I talk about that and then I connect it to a dream catcher that I specifically made for someone, I feel like that's just kind of my way of like, I don't know, throwing it out there into the world and like, I don't know, seeing if someone is inspired by it or whatever.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And you teach art therapy too. So can you tell us a story about that?
Yeah, I really love it. I started it actually just like a few months ago because I might want to go onto that path further. But I'd have to go to school and take psychology courses, so I just wanted to see if I liked it. So I found this amazing program, Art with a Heart, in Baltimore, and they teach art classes to different populations in Baltimore, so people who are maybe rehabilitating from being homeless or autism or elderly. There's just a lot of diverse groups. So last week, it was like so amazing. We did a class with autistic children. And this one kid, he was like super into drawing. We were doing painting, and he was like really into it. And then all of a sudden he's drawing this giraffe. And the mom comes over like freaking out. And I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? And he's like, she's like, he's really into art. And he's like, I think he's kind of like a prodigy, but he literally only draws Elmo. Only ever draws Elmo. Like, that's it. And like maybe like a Big Bird or something, but like that's it. And then I looked at it and it's like a completely different thing. She's like, this is like such a milestone. This is amazing. And she was like so excited, and the kid was excited. And I don't know if it was maybe the aspect of just being in like a class and being around people in the community, or just like that was the time for him to shine. But it was just like so amazing to actually see
progress,
art therapy in progress, actually in action.
Yeah, like
so
see, like
really
it
cool.
works.
And he was like so excited about it. He's like, I'm doing a great job. This is awesome. And I was like, right on. Yeah, you totally are. It was so great.
So why do you think art therapy helps? Why do you think it's important in society in general?
I think it's just, again, like it's such a connector, and it makes people feel like they're actually creating something. And I feel like we're all creative people. So if we're able to kind of harness that and maybe have someone who's motivating you and being like, that's great, while you're actually creating something, like that's such an amazing self-esteem booster for people who probably their entire lives haven't had much self-esteem in their lives, whether they're different or whatever their situation is. It's like a really great thing to actually feel like you're accomplishing something. And I feel like that's like the main big thing. And then Art with a Heart also, they sell some of the goods that they do in the class, in the different classes, and like that's amazing knowing like your work is being sold and someone might buy it. It's just like, it's very amazing. It's a really great thing to see people actually inspired by like the work that we do.
That is really cool. It's like you're giving people a chance to create something that normally they probably wouldn't have an opportunity to even do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you're giving them like the materials and the inspiration and some know-how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
God.
Yeah.
So tell me, just sum it up for me. What do you love about being an artist?
Well, what I love about being an artist is being a connector for people, to kind of create this other language that people can understand and maybe be inspired by or learn something, or even try themselves, because I think we're all really creative people, and we all have gifts in different areas. So if we kind of look at other people doing art, or if we tried ourselves, or if we're just kind of made more aware of an issue or something, or even something beautiful like nature or land or whatever, I think that's like really inspiring and like such a connector for human beings. So yeah, I think that's like why I really love doing what I do.
I think it's wonderful.
It's so fun.
You're bringing people together, and
Yeah.
it's just that must be it must be a really cool feeling knowing that you're being a vehicle for
Definitely.
connection.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Man,
really great.
Thank you so much for being on the show today, Rachel. That's
thanks.
going to do it for us this week.
Thank you so much.
You've been wonderful.
Oh, so have you.
Thanks. Yeah, we're going to have you on again sometime.
Cool.
Thanks for tuning in and turning on, and I want you to tune in and turn on every Tuesday here on The Kate Show. Like and subscribe, please. We'll see you next week.